Alright, this is Eric with his inaugural draft video here on YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of testing the microphone and stuff like that. It may fail, who knows. Opening the first pack, we have Mana Bloom is the rare, which it's not fantastic. Azorius Charm is a damn solid pick here. Fixes us into two colors. Golgari Longlegs, on the other hand, is decent, but can be played by two separate colors. Doesn't have to be in black, doesn't have to be in green, it can be just one. Axebane Guardian is a great card, I like that guy. Tenement Crasher is playable, but Grim Roustabout is alright here. I think we're just going to go ahead and take the Azorius Charm. I like drafting Azorius. Azorius Skies is a pretty good archetype here, so we'll lead off with that. Keeping in mind what we're passing here. We got Volatile Rig. I'm not entirely sold on Volatile Rig yet. It's alright, but it's very it depends on the board situation when you draw it. Obviously, it's like a Wrath of God in that you have the choice of when you want to play it, but if we're going to be drafting Skies, we want to be beating down in the air. Then there's, of course, there's a Stab Wound in this pack, so we're probably just going to take the Stab Wound because that is the best common in the set, and we'll just move into some combination of colors that includes black. Annihilating Fire also very good, also here. We'll keep in mind that we're passing that. I really like Knightly Valor, but it's got to be the Stab Wound here. Tower Drake would have been nice for the deck that we were planning on after pick 1, but fortunately we got past a better card. Pick 3 here, we have Augur Spree is more removal that overlaps with Stab Wound for a deck, and that just has to be the obvious pick here. Dead Reveler is also fairly good for that deck, but it's no Augur Spree. Augur Spree is very good removal in a set that is quite light on it. So we're going to take that while we have the chance. So by cost here. Nivix Guildmage. I am not a big fan of this Guildmage. I find it just doesn't do enough. It costs a lot of mana to use its abilities that are really only kind of cute. Like looting is alright, but compared to the other guild mages, it just doesn't stand up. Splatter Thug, however, is amazing. Roustabout, as I said before, is a solid card. We're just going to take the Splatter Thug, and we are on to a Rakdos deck. We have an Izzet Charm, which we could splash for. Same thing with Pursuit of Flight, but there's no reason to go off color when we have a Gorehouse Chainwalker. Dark Revenant, I have never played. Its ability to put on the top of your library, I've always found that too big of a possible trap, too easily abused by your opponent if they want to just keep you off of drawing anything else in your deck other than Dark Revenant. So I have never played that card. Maybe someone else has played it and has other other experiences, but no, I have not. Splatter Thug here is a good pick. That's quite late. This is 6th, and I don't know why it's still here, but it is not going to be seen 7th by my neighbor, so let's take that. Here we have Cobble Brute is playable. Mind Rot is vaguely playable as well. It can be quite nice in this format, but I prefer to have better cards than either of these in my decks. But you know, I don't know what the final list is going to look like. That said, I don't really have a curve here. I just have a bunch of 3 drops and a 2 drop. So I think an additional 3 drop would be a little overboard. I'll take the 4 drop and get this thing into a little bit of a curve. We got a Roustabout here, which is a fine pick. I like Perilous Shadow. It's a good card. It's kind of awkward when you're playing more than one in a deck if you get both of them in the same hand. It can have its advantages depending on the board state, but it's definitely better when you can just sink all of your mana into it and threaten to just have an enormous creature. So, but we'll take the Roustabout. There may be more shadows later. As you can see, there are a lot of late Tenement Crashers. Terrace Worm is definitely much more playable in something Golgari, something that has a bit of ramp or a bit more long game than the fairly aggressive Rakdos decks that will never hit 7 land. And so we'll get the Tenement Crasher. The haste is nice. And Mizium Skin is playable. Chemister's Trick is playable. Izzet Kirun is playable. Catacomb Slug is not. Destroy the Evidence is not. I will take the Izzet Kirun because although it's the worst creature of all the Kiruns, it will allow me to splash blue if I need to later on. Hopefully, though, it will have something better than the Izzet Kirun to splash it with, but that's just what we are taking. We have a Rakdos Charm, which is kind of a crappy charm, but we may end up using it post-board if there's key artifacts or anything. I guess we take the Vandal Blast. Also not, oh, there's that Dark Revenant. Fight Vermin. Not going to want to play the Vermin. Not going to want to play the Revenant. Hide the Plains. Azorius Charm is not being played. World Spine Worm for Mythic Rare. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So Rakdos Ringleader is just about the worst uncommon that we could hope to crack on Guild. But fortunately, there's better stuff in here. We have a Dagger Drone Imp, which is definitely better in Golgari when you can grow him. That said, I may want the Pursuit of Flight and just splash for the jump ability. Shred Freak is not very good. 2/1 creatures don't really do enough in this set to be worthwhile playing in most cases. So I'll take the Pursuit of Flight, and maybe we can get somewhere with that. Okay, we got a Splatter Thug. We got a Steam Vance here, though, which is worth a couple tickets. Rick's Matty Guild Mage. Okay, I think I'm going to give up the tickets that the Steam Vance would give me just to take the Rick's Matty Guild Mage because I like it so much. Splatter Thug is also a very good card, but Rick's Matty Guild Mage can easily take over games. It makes me less inclined to play the Pursuit of Flight because it makes me less inclined to splash. I'm going to want to have all of my land be swamps and mountains to just sink into the Rick's Matty Guild Mage as evenly as possible, because that's just sick. Of course, the steam vents would allow me to splash the Pursuit of Flight, which is kind of entertaining, but I like Rixmatic Guildmage. I'm going to go with it. And here we are with a foil Dagger Drone Imp, another Tenement Crasher. We don't want to overload on these because they are a 6-drop. Dead Reveler is a perfectly fine card that I'm going to take to put in my deck. Okay. And we got some choices here. We have a Spawn of Rixmati, a 5-drop, which we are kind of lacking here. Fits into our curve nicely. Traitorous Instinct is a decent finisher, and really nice at catching the opponent off guard, but it's definitely situational. Obviously, Sewer Shambler is a fine card. I really like Sewer Shambler. Throwing some Scavenge into this deck kind of artificially increases the curve. And Gorehouse Chainwalker is alright too. I think we need the Spawn of Rixmati though to get the enormous body. Okay, we have Deviant Glee here and Golgari Longlegs. Another big body here on Golgari Longlegs, but I think we're going to want the Deviant Glee. We're a lot less likely to play that Pursuit of Flight with what we're going to for now. Yeah, so Deviant Glee it is. Rogue's Passage is a very nice land when you have things like Deviant Glee and Spawn of Rixmati, Tenement Crasher, big creatures like that, even Cobble Brood in here. Rogue's Passage would make Cobble Brood a lot more playable. Goblin Rally I've never really found all that useful. Just the 4/1/1s don't do enough in red decks, I find. There's another Spawn of Rixmati here. Traitorous Instinct is doable as well, but I think I'm going to want the Rogue's Passage here. Is it Guildgate if we do want to splash that Pursuit of Flight? Bellows Lizard is one of those things that you don't really want to play unless you're really short on a creature. Launch Party is a fairly mediocre removal spell. I don't know if I'm more in need of it. Is it Guildgate here or the Launch Party? I think I'll just take the Launch Party. Running out of time there. Perilous Shadow is the only thing on color. There's nothing really that we would want to hate here. Some decent cards here though with Runewig, Rootborn Defenses in the spell. The other 3, excluding obviously the island, aren't really playable, in my opinion. So we'll take the Perilous Shadow. Moving along, we have Drainpipe Vermin. Is not a very good card. Helps out pack rats a bit. Azorius Arrestor. The Detain is good here. The 2/1, not so. I'm clearly not going to take it. I'm just evaluating the cards. Is it Guildgate here would allow me to splash that Pursuit of Flight, and as I dislike Rakdos Ringleader, Drainpipe Vermin, and Racecourse Fury, I'm going to take it rather than hate out the Giant Growth. Okay, here we have Celestia Guildgate. We don't have anything we're really willing to play here. We could hate out some Dispel. We do have an Augur Spree. We would not be playing the Dispel in any situation. It's just a hate that we're looking at here. The Sundering Growth could take care of our Stab Wound, but think we want to get rid of the Dispel as a hate. Alright, Tenement Crasher here is the only thing we'd be likely to play at all. I'm not sure if we want to play a second one yet. That's going to be dependent on the deck that we have later. So we'll take that. There's some decent cards here as well with Monitor and Ethereal Armor. Shrieking Affliction is not really anything that does anything. Paralyzing Grasp is also quite a poor removal spell. Vassal Soul, however, is a good card, and rather than play against that flyer, I will hate it out. And here, I don't mind playing against someone willing to play Survey the Wreckage or Search Warrant, so I will happily pass those, take out the mountain, and give them the option to do so. Okay, so we have 18 non-lands here. I guess the lower end of the playables being the Pursuit of Flight, the Izzet Keyrune, Cobble Brute, maybe one of the Tenement Crashers. We have a Cryptborn Horror that we cracked here, as well as a Corpsejack Menace. Cryptborn Horror fits perfectly into our deck, and there isn't really much else on color for us. There's a Corozda Guildmage I quite like, New Prov Guildmage also very good. This is definitely a decent pack with lots of different colors in it. Not much, I suppose, for any Izzet players, I guess. They're kind of screwed here. Transguild Promenade, generally want to avoid playing that. If you're playing very demanding Splash, then you can get that in there. But the Cryptborn Horror is what we're going to take here, and move on to the next pick. Okay, we have Goblin Rally again, doesn't do anything. Bloodfray Giant is an excellent card. We have Deviant Glee here, which is good, but it's nowhere near the quality of Bloodfray Giant, so we're just going to take the Bloodfray Giant. Here we have a Pyroconvergence, doesn't really do anything. Electrickery is alright. Sometimes it makes the cut in my deck, sometimes it doesn't. Grim Roustabout I find almost always does, so we're going to take that. It's a little bit shallow in our colors, but we do have a pick. I am very happy here to see a Lobster Crew sitting right here, sticking out at me because there isn't really anything else to pick. Yeah, there's a Mind Rot, and Survey the Wreckage isn't really a card. So we're going to take that Lobster Crew, and that goes right into the deck. It can absolutely just win games on its own. And we have run out of picks. I don't know if we're getting cut now or what. What do we least want to play against here? Trestle Troll is a bit irritating as a regenerator. I don't mind someone being really aggressive with Giant Militant. Rune Wing is a bit frustrating. It both draws them the card and plays Evasion, which we don't really have anything in the way of flight, other than obviously the Pursuit of Flight. So I think we'll just get rid of that Trestle Troll. We don't want to have to face a 4 toughness regenerator. Alright, we have Racketeer's playable, also sort of marginal. I'm a big fan of Rage Mud, more so than other people I've spoken to about it. I really like it. There's no, like, Shred Freak's not very good, Slug is not really even playable, Rakdos Charm, we already have one that we're hoping to not even have to play, so Rage Mud it is. Alright, once again, we don't really have much, and we're stuck at these 23 cards, and hoping to cut some of them out of here, but we're not being passed anything. So I think we would want to get rid here of the Rubbleback Rhino. The hexproof can be a bit irritating, especially when we have stuff like Augur Spree. The regeneration on the Selesnya Sentry is rather expensive, and the Rubbleback Rhino will definitely come into play against us earlier than that. So we will hate that out. We have another Pursuit of Flight here, but fortunately we have an actual pick, a Spawn of Rixmati. Staticaster is a decent card, Tower Drakes are a decent card, Courses Accord is a very good card, and Druid's Deliverance is definitely playable in a populate deck. But we have our Spawn of Rixmati, our curve's looking a little high here. Jailbreaker is definitely decent. We only have the one guild gate to get it to attack, but even just that possibility makes it a lot more playable than if we had none. Here we're going to want to probably get rid of one of the big flyers. Most likely we want to get rid of the one that detains us rather than the one that's a trick, because we are going to be hopefully more aggressive than whatever deck would include that. Runewing, once again, I mentioned before why I don't want to play against that. Mind Rot we may want to play over some of the other stuff we have here. Don't think that highly of either of these cards. I guess the Caracal. Survey the Wreckage is not playable, so we will not play it. And that's our 45 cards. So we're just waiting now for deck building. Here we go. We're definitely playing the Deviant Glee, hopefully not the Vermin, 2 Roustabouts, Reveler. We will see about the Mind Rot. Definitely Stab Wound. Definitely not Dark Revenant. Launch Party we're probably going to have to play. Jailbreaker, Perilous Shadow. Vandal Blast is sideboard material. Pursuit of Flight we will see about later. Chainwalker, Lobster Crew, Splatter Thug are all definites. Cobble Brute we will see about later. Bloodfrayed Giant gets in there. Survey the Wreckage does not. Tenement Crasher, one of, gets in there. The Rakdos Charm we will see about later. Cryptborn Horror definitely gets in there. The Spawns and the Rage Mutt, as well as the Augur Spree and the Guild Mage, are definitely playing. We are at 20 cards now, with somewhat of a high-looking curve here. But we have a bit of beef. Some very beefy creatures here. Some horrific cows, if you will. So, we need what we think would complement this kind of deck. I actually think Mind Rot jumps to the front of the line here. I don't really want splashing for Pursuit of Flight just seems poor. I do have the Izzet Guildgate, and it is decent on its own without the flying. +2/+2 enchantment in this format is absolutely fine. So what we're looking at here is, I think, these 3 of these 4, this pile here. Tenement Crasher, Pursuit of Flight, Cobble Brute, Mind Rot. I am inclined to cut the Tenement Crasher because my curve is definitely on the high side. It may even be correct to cut one of the Spawn of Rixmatis for an additional Tenement Crasher here, but I don't think I want to play 5 cards that are 5s and 6 drops. I think just 4. bring those 3 in. Take a look at this. We have 17 creatures, 2 creature enchantments, some decent removal in Stab Wound, Augur Spree, and Rixmatic Guildmage. Mind Rot is a bit of disruption. I think actually that the Tenement Crasher is better than Spawn of Rixmatic in this deck, and I would rather do that. So I think this is the build we're going to go with. So we're going to want our Rogue's Passage, definitely, because of our beef. Is it Guildgate? I think is enough to splash the Pursuit of Flight. I see no real motivation to play an actual island in here. I think that we could play the Spawn of Rixmatic over the Pursuit of Flight and play the beef that's actually beefy on its own. But for example, with something like Splatter Thug, Pursuit of Flight, you can pay it in installments and have a 5/5 first striker on the ground if you're stuck on mana, whereas Spawn of Rixmatic doesn't allow for that. And I think that's just a more desirable situation to have our deck be able to play through. So we're going to want to be, like I said, because of the Rixmatic Guildmage, and I just generally find this to be true about deck building. We're going to want to be even as possible throughout the 2 colors of our guild. We already have 1 red here. Rogue's Passage doesn't offer colored mana. It does offer enough to compensate for that, though, definitely. So we're going to have to play 1 more of a particular color. 1 more black source or 1 more red source, because we have 15 slots left and 1 red already. So there's a guy here who can't count. No, we get to play an even number. We get to play 8 and 8. The 17th source is the Rogue's Passage. Yes, sorry about that. 8 and 8. So Is It Guildgate takes place of one of the 8 mountains, and we play 8 swamps. So we will add land, suggest, and it says exactly that. And then we submit and mentally prepare ourselves for round 1.